This is how it is going to go. We are going to have 7 days straight where we have picks that you can make with your chance to be BetTV's Betting Extraordinaire for a chance to win $25,000. If you get the first 3 questions right over the course of 3 days, you're going to win $250. If you get to day 5, you're going to win $2,500. And if you get through day 7, a week straight of correct picks, we're going to give you $25,000. No joke.
It is no joke. Welcome to Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire. It is day 2 of our contest, our current contest. We started day 1. People ladder up if they can make correct picks. Last Friday, we had probably 17 or 18 callers again for day 1. Only one got a pick right for the college football slate on Saturday, and that is Carlos. So, Carlos, whenever you can get back to your office restroom or wherever it is he called in from 30 minutes ago.
We got to hope his boss isn't the last word Cheetah fan.
Look, Bob can't call in. He's teaching math. I miss him. I'm glad Carlos didn't fall by the wayside during work, during football. Look, it's a Monday Night Football game. I already told Carlos in advance since he's the only contestant that's going today. You just got to pick a winner tonight, side or total. So the market's moved pretty heavily on the Raiders side. It was 4.5 earlier. It was 4 until this morning. Now it's basically 3.5 across the board. And I think the plus 3.5s are even juiced a few spots, pushing towards 3. Don't think we'll ever see 3 by kick, but keep an eye on it. If so, he has to pick on 3.5, and then the total's 50.5. This is my main question, and Quan, if you have any thoughts, I'm curious. I'm not sure if I was talking about this on our show or another spot I was doing. I feel like it was some Twitter spaces I did last week, but you may have been in the office in the studio anyways. But like, how does it affect Lamar Jackson and the Ravens? This is my main concern. I like the Raiders side when it was 4. There's still a couple of 4s out there, so shop around if you want. But they lose 3 running backs, and J.K. Dobbins, by the way, was the leading rusher in yards per attempt for running backs last year in the entire league. Lamar was number 1. Then you lose Gus Edwards. They lost a third one. They're trying to figure out the situation at running back. And here's the thing. It's like the reason their running backs are pretty efficient is because Lamar Jackson is an option to run. They're going QB read option. But if they're not worried about the running backs as much now, can they just key in on Lamar? And now Lamar loses his strength, which then kind of compounds and doesn't make the run game as good for the running backs. And not only that, he can't really beat teams through the air yet because the run game sets it up. So now you don't have running backs for a run game. That might affect Lamar's efficiency on the ground. And if he's not a threat to run as efficiently, then he's not able to throw it as well. And like eventually, like the dominoes are falling. Bateman, by the way, their first-round draft pick, a receiver, I'm pretty sure he's still out tonight. Exactly. The Raiders can win this game. Exactly. I don't know. Like I feel like if there was ever a time to fade Baltimore, it's probably now when they're in this mess and they need to figure out what's going to work for them offensively. And I don't know. 4 is still pretty strong if you can find the 4. I think that's the best shot in this game.
I think as a coordinator, you're cautious of who could hurt you. Like, is Le'Veon playing in this game?
I have no clue.
Yeah,
you might be playing tonight. By the way, you're like, man, you won practice for your flag football team, 9-year-old, and you're like, man, we're not winning 2 games.
Hey,
and you're 2-0 already to start over the weekend. Take some credit.
We did some air raid offense. We went up top over these 9-year-olds. I don't play. If you're pressing, you're going to get taken to the cleaners, baby. But, I mean, it's
Bell and Latavius Murray was the other one that they brought in.
I mean, you're not getting what you're used to, but those are still 2 capable backs. So you worry about Lamar, you game plan for Lamar, and you key in on, okay, this is what Le'Veon likes to do. He's patient. He's going to take his time, blah, blah, blah. And you shut down Lamar and make somebody else beat you. That's how my coaches always operated. You take away the number 1 threat, and if you happen to lose to somebody who's stepping in on short notice,
like Le'Veon Bell, then you just end the year. Yeah. You just call it quits. Sorry, Las Vegas. You just lost to 2021 Le'Veon Bell. Has Carlos called in yet? He is? All right. So, again, I'm going to recap this. You can put him through, but he was the only contestant to make it through to day 2. He has a chance, pick 7 straight winners, 7 days, and win $25,000. But if he just gets through tomorrow, he ladders up to $250. Through day 5, he at least pockets $2,500, and then day 7 would be the $25K. So, Carlos, I gave you, it's been about 40 minutes since you called into the other show. We were breaking down games for the full hour last word Cheetah. What have you decided on? Ravens -3.5, Raiders +3.5, over 50.5, or under 50.5? Did you put some notes down? Did you put anything together?
I try to use my brain sometimes when I think. So I like the Las Vegas Raiders +3.5.
Should I take
That
back
is my
everything
pick
I
for the
said the last 9 minutes of this show, since Carlos just said he's going with the Raiders? Wait, hold on. I'll let you have your piece. I won't needle you too soon. Why do you like the Raiders, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, the missing of the running backs, I think the city's going to be lit tonight. I think it's going to be crazy. And that's, if I want to go on some dumb kind of ideology, Las Vegas is going to be lit tonight. And I think they can, if they lose, they're going to lose by a field goal. And I'm going to get the win by the hook.
Okay, it's possible they lose by exactly 3. You're right. There's a chance that happens. I'll say this: the Las Vegas is going to be lit tonight is very reminiscent of the All-Star game after the home run derby when you said, "Did you see the balls flying out last night? I got to go over the total." Las Vegas is going to be lit.
All that, yeah. You remember, Preston. You remember how I capped. I appreciate that.
Now I know a little bit more. It makes sense. He's at work. He's making trips to the restroom to make calls. This is all kind of coming together.
These are thoughts from the bathroom. Every time he's called in.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You guys are on to me now. Yeah.
That's where you do your best thinking, man. I get it.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
If you had to pick the total, Carlos, just so that you feel upset when the Raiders lose by 4, what would you go for the total? Would you go over or under if you had to choose between those two?
That's a great one. I like the over.
Okay.
I like the over. I think there's going to be some. I don't know where the offense is going to come from Baltimore. I really don't.
Oh my God.
He just talked about the running backs. I don't know where the offense is going to come from, but I like the over.
But I like the over.
Who's
I
gonna,
do. I think
you just say you don't know who's gonna. Here's I think one of the callers on Cheetah made a good point with, or you made it, and they missed this. Marcus Peters is gonna be out, so I mean that's gonna be something that the Raiders could take care of offensively if you get some balls down.
the linebackers, their linebackers stink. I mean, they're going to use Waller. I think Waller's the guy. I know Patrick had a good prop bet earlier in the show. And that Waller over prop is looking real juicy.
Yeah,
too.
if anyone missed it earlier, Patrick, one of our callers, he liked over 69.5 for Waller yards, receiving yards. Seemed like a pretty good angle. No Peters, running backs that can't, middle linebackers and linebacking units that can't hang with running backs and tight ends, at least the last few years for Baltimore. So I was just curious. We'll see. Hopefully the Raiders just take care of business, but I am intrigued now if you were to go with the total. You like points. I hope we see points. It'll be fun. It's Monday night. Carlos, good luck. I hope you're solo tomorrow for day 3. Get some cash in your pocket. Good luck, sir. We'll talk to you then.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Like 2 classic Carlos moments in the same call. He needs to make a run for this one. But yeah, for him to say, well, Las Vegas is going to be lit tonight, so therefore, the Raiders, look, we know Vegas is lit pretty much every night.
day.
If you're actually visiting the city itself, yes, the stadium should be. But yeah, the over is interesting, all things considered, on the Baltimore offense front. Maybe the angle is Raiders team total over if we're worried about the defensive side for Baltimore. I just hope they cover the 3.5 or 4s for people that are able to get those. It just feels like a Raiders W.
I went Ravens on my show, so.
Of course you did. So now that I've heard he's on Raiders and you're on Ravens, I feel okay about liking Raiders. It kind of washes. Too much is on either side. It's like it never happened. What was your – wait, did you just pick pick a winner for every game, right?
Yeah.
You're 8-6 going into this one?
Yep.
How many underdogs did you actually pick?
Saints.
Nice.
I had Browns. Lost that one.
They covered at least, but yeah, you're just going for outright. There was a ton of dogs that won, Pittsburgh obviously in there.
No, that might have been. I think the
Houston.
I picked the Texans. I went with you and the Tyrod coming out. Like, I'm not sold on Urban's going to be out of there probably week 3.
How many texts did you get from me yesterday? I was like, wow, how good is Tyrod?
Nice. Wow, look at that throw.
I went on like a 10-minute rant over the summer about how good he was for Buffalo that one year.
Yeah.
His best receiver was
Man.
Charles Clay, who played tight end.
He
And
was
his
making
next best
throws,
receiver,
man.
LaShawn McCoy, who played running back.
Yeah, like the one over the middle to the tight end that he one-handed.
He
like,
lofted it up.
He was making some
He's
throws,
dropping them.
man. And, like, I can't believe Urban is that bad. Like, I can, but.
We saw this after that first half of that second preseason
When they
game.
tried.
It was just like he went out of his way to say they were like going to be really focused.
Yeah.
It's just, you can just see they're not
Meshing.
meshing is a perfect word.
And they said
Because it's like showing itself on the defensive side too.
Yeah.
It's not just offense. Like you can't give up 100 to the Texans.
somebody dropped an article that said he's like a raving lunatic behind the scenes. Like he's angry, he's got short temper,
Really?
and all that. Like
Like,
like 20.
You
to
finally
30
get a shot in the NFL, and
Yeah, it's stressful.
I mean, we hit on it. We like the Jag season wins under, like the Texans over some as well. But like, if it's not what he was doing in college, and we'll wrap up this show. I know this isn't really betting extraordinary stuff anymore, but we only had Carlos left, so it's all good. What he was doing in college kind of stopped working even in college when he was at Ohio State. They kind of dropped off. Like what he was doing Florida and Utah prior, I think Bowling Green before that, like it was revolutionizing the way like spread offenses were run with the quarterback position and being able to run and dual threat. Now you're trying to do that in the NFL with a young team, first-year quarterback in the league. Like it's just like good luck. But then I didn't even realize just how disjointed was the word I was looking for. The defense looked against the Texans. And I'm not trying to take away from Tyrod Taylor because he's my guy. But like part of that was just Jacksonville's a mess already.
Oh,
So
goodness.
that being said, real quick before we wrap up, do you know who they're playing this week? They're at home. I was just looking up the new line.
Jacksonville?
Yeah, they played Denver. The line, like this look-ahead line probably was like 3. Jacksonville's at home to Denver, +3. And now it's 6. There's even a 6.5. Is Jacksonville really just that much worse than we anticipated, or is this a really big overreaction? Like the difference between 3 and 6.5 after one game is pretty significant.
I think the game plan that they had against Houston was horrible. I think the whole entire, I want to say, first quarter at least, they threw. Like they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't run like Lawrence threw the first 9 plays of the game or something. Yeah,
and that's a terrible game plan in any regard. So with Urban in charge, no. I'd like Darrell Bevell as a head coach. I saw somebody say just fire Urban now and let Bevell take over, which I think Bevell deserved a chance after what he did in Detroit when they let go of Patricia. But he's not making the game. Whoever's in charge of the game plan is bad.
Can you actually fire Urban after one game?
Man, look.
I mean, that's never really happened, right? Like he was like the splashy hire, like
You
for
change
the
your
publicity.
culture, like, this is
you
a
can't fire
rebuild,
him after one
everything.
game. But
like he was on AEW, like the cons are really into it.
this is setting up perfect though for our first coach fired prop bet. Zach Taylor and the Bengals. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Bengals beat the Minnesota Vikings. But it was the whole idea was the Bengals schedule sets up where after they start 0-3, they play the Jaguars, and Urban Meyer will look like a mess. The Jags will be 0-3, and if the Bengals lose to Urban Meyer in Week 4, Zach Taylor's gone, and the Bengals freaking beat Minnesota, so that's out the window. Unfortunately, Is what it is. Carlos, good luck. We'll wrap up the NFL discussion. Who wants to be a betting extraordinaire? Carlos, day 2, chance to win $25,000. If he wins, if the Raiders cover 3.5, he'll be back tomorrow, day 3. If not, we reset the whole board. We open up the phone lines to anybody out there that wants to call in day 1, and we start the process all again. So everyone else out there, they're rooting for the Ravens to cover 3.5. Carlos and company, we're rooting for the plus 3.5. Until tomorrow, we'll be back last word sheet of 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, and Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific.